Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Julie Norton was named the Wenatchee School Board President last night after she and the other directors took their oath of office. A former employee of the East Wenatchee Water District is suing the agency, saying his superiors discriminated against him over a persistent disability. One more day of dry weather before our first snow of the season arrives tomorrow night and Friday, with 2 feet possible in the mountains. More on that coming up in weather. A 25-year-old East Wenatchee man has pleaded guilty to assault charges and the sexual abuse of a 12-year-old child. Kenneth R. Crisp entered a plea Tuesday in Douglas County Superior Court to 2 counts of second-degree assault. The Columbia River Drug Task Force arrested Crisp in September of last year after investigators found evidence he'd carried on a sexual relationship with the victim beginning in 2020. The plea agreement allows Crisp to plead to felony assault and avoid multiple sex crime charges originally filed in the case. He faces a recommended prison term of 13 months when he's sentenced on December 27th. Meanwhile, another East Wenatchee suspect, Michael Aviles Espinoza, is also charged with federal crimes for allegedly abusing the same victim and distributing video files of the act. Espinoza faces trial in January in U.S. District Court. Julie Norton was named the Wenatchee School Board President last night after she and the other directors took their oath of office. Norton, who served the last year as Vice President, was nominated by fellow returning board member Martin Barron and won the vote 3-1, with only Director Maria Iniguez voting no. Newcomer Tucker Jackson was unanimously elected Vice President after being nominated by Iniguez. The board is completed by second newcomer Miranda Skaliski. This is the first Wenatchee School Board to be elected by sub-districts with only one at-large position. A Wenatchee DUI arrest that was overturned in Superior Court will remain, according to the Washington Court of Appeals. In a 2-1 ruling yesterday, the higher court upheld the decision to reverse the conviction of Frank Edward Stearns, arrested by Wenatchee police in 2019 on suspicion of intoxicated driving. A Chelan County District Court judge found him guilty of DUI and 2 other charges, but on appeal, Superior Court Judge Robert Jordan found in May of last year that police had lacked sufficient evidence to stop Stearns' vehicle. The Court of Appeals ruling says the arrest was based on a bystander's tip and the police officer did not observe sufficient evidence of impaired driving. One judge dissented, saying the traffic stop should have been permissible. Governor Jay Inslee was in Grant County today for a ribbon cutting on a new plant designed to construct battery materials. Scylla Nanotechnologies will produce a silicone anodes instead of the conventional graphite anodes used in electric vehicle batteries. The Grant County facility is partnering with Big Bend Community College and says it will eventually employ up to 500 people. Inslee was also scheduled to attend a roundtable on affordable housing and visit the Moses Lake Chamber of Commerce. When we come back, Governor Jay Inslee was in Grant County today for a ribbon cutting on a new plant designed to construct battery materials. And we'll continue our exit interview with 3-term Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Whatever the holidays mean to you, get the most out of them in a new Honda. Whether it's taking in the lights with all your friends in a spacious Accord, or taking in a snow day in a rugged CRV. Your holiday adventure awaits with a new Honda during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
I'm Eric Granstrom, the sports director for the NCWLIFE channel. We're here at Eastmont High School. We're going to be at Wenatchee High School. We've got basketball, we've got wrestling. It's all winter long. While you're out freezing your hind end off, we're inside staying warm. It's right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
A former employee of the East Wenatchee Water District is suing the agency, saying his superiors discriminated against him over a persistent disability. Brian Kniffen filed a lawsuit Tuesday in federal court in Spokane. He was with the Water District for nearly 30 years and suffered a back injury while on the job in 2020. Kniffen's lawsuit alleges the district refused to accommodate his inability to lift heavy loads or manually operate large water valves and unlawfully fired him in 2021. The Water District serves about 10,000 customers. It has yet to file a response to that lawsuit. A few Wenatchee foothills trails will close on Friday. Sage Hills Trail will close as a result of mule deer migration. The 960-acre Homewater Wildlife Preserve is located in the heart of Sage Hills. Included as part of an annual seasonal closure, Horse Lake Reserve Trails and all side trails up Dry Gulch Preserve will close also. Local hikers are encouraged to venture along Apple Capital Loop Trail, Saddle Rock, Lower Castle Rock, and the Jacobson Preserve trails in the meantime. Frank Kuntz, who will leave office at the end of this year, has won 3 terms as Wenatchee's mayor. Kuntz is a Republican, although city races are officially nonpartisan, and along the way he's endorsed Democratic politicians to represent our area in Congress. In his exit interview with NCWLIFE News, Kuntz says those endorsements were based on what he thinks other politicians can do for his city.
You know, I always have put on a hat that's what's in the best interest of the city of Wenatchee. That is the entity that I control, right? And I look and see what's going on in Olympia. I look and see what's going on in Washington, D.C. I look at who candidates are, and I look at the things that we're asking from our government to help partner with, and I'm going, which one of these folks would be the best partner for us? Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, I'm just looking for the best partner. And I did support Maria Cantwell when she ran for U.S. Senate, and I had some reasons why I did that. One of the biggest ones is when, you know, the very first article I read about Susan Hutchinson was running, her first comment was, well, she doesn't work very hard, right? She's lazy. That's not the Maria Cantwell that I work with, right? That woman worked, and so I got tainted by some of the stuff that I heard. And, you know, when Kim Schreier ran against Dino Rossi, I supported Dino the first time. I mean, I supported him, I gave him money. I thought he would be the best choice. And when she won, good for her, she called me, she came to City Hall, and I said, listen, you're my congresswoman. You know, Confluence Parkway is a big thing for us, and I want to work with you and make sure that happens. And she was great to work with. And over those, you know, years, we became friends, and I thought she did a remarkable job for us. Does she vote on everything I would vote for? No. But is she responsive? Yes. Has she been in our, I joke with her sometimes, I introduce her places, and I say, you're in Wenatchee more than I am. And she has this huge congressional district she has to operate. So she's a hard worker, she's smart, and I didn't have any problem supporting her. I thought she would be the best representative for our region. I think she continues to be. So I'm way more probably independent than Republican. I agree with a lot of the Republican theories and less government, less regulation, lower taxes, those sorts of things, pro-business, pro-capitalism. Those are things that are basic to me. But I tend to support the person more than the party. And my parents were sort of that way when they grew up. They just supported the person more than the party. But they were Republicans. But they were sort of Dan Evans, John Spellman Republicans. I don't know what that is anymore, right? Because the Republican Party is so where you're at. We're sort of in the middle, I think.
Coming up next, over 200 cases of a new infectious canine respiratory disease have been reported to the Oregon Department of Agriculture since August. We'll tell you more in tonight's feature story. Expect big weather changes by tomorrow night and especially into Friday with the first snow of the season headed our way. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing, by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Road, NCWLIFE channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
As Chelan's premier lifestyle store, Willow, find unique home decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. Come visit for a welcoming and memorable shopping experience.
Deepwater Electronics is your one-stop shop for the latest in TV and sound technology. Whether you build your home theater or let them do it for you, Deepwater Electronics is the clear choice.
The switch is on to T-Mobile. Get the best 5G experience and the customer service you depend on. Only at Chelan Wireless in downtown Chelan.
Hello, television family. Grab your cup of coffee each weekday morning and join me. I'm Dan Kuntz, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's everything you need to start your day. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. every weekday on the NCWLIFE channel.
In tonight's feature story, over 200 cases of new respiratory disease have been reported to the Oregon Department of Agriculture since August. The illness has been seen nationwide. Dogs begin experiencing symptoms similar to kennel cough but don't respond to standard antibiotic treatment. The disease can result in poor outcomes in as little as 24 to 36 hours. While thankfully no cases have yet been reported in Washington, Wenatchee veterinarian Dr. Collin Bonnett wants to inform pet owners what to look out for.
It hasn't been very well described yet, and I think that there remains a bit of uncertainty about what exactly it is. The first one that we heard of, I think at least regionally, was maybe out of Oregon. And then there's some in the Northeast as well. This seems to be, by all accounts, to be one of this kind of complex, what's called canine infectious respiratory disease, which is, a lot of people would call it, or kennel cough, for example, is one version of this. And so we'd be looking for things like coughing, sneezing. Sometimes there's some ocular discharge and kind of squinting, things like that. Generally, these dogs are lethargic and off of their food. They kind of don't want to perform. They don't want to go for the normal run or a walk that they normally would do. But certainly the coughing, sneezing, kind of hacking thing would be the principal clinical signs that owners should be looking for. There are some tests that we submit that will help to definitively diagnose that, specifically or especially once we know what to be looking for. As it stands now, the testing that is routinely done is kind of more of a broadcast type of test that looks for a number of different pathogens. We have had over the many years, there have been flare-ups of what is generally considered or generally called kennel cough, and at that point, it's always a good idea to stay away from the boarding facilities and the common dog parks and that kind of a thing. But I guess it maybe would be premature to say that they shouldn't, clients shouldn't be taking their animals there, particularly when they need to be traveling and things like that. I mean, we might get into a pinch point with that, but as it stands now, it hasn't seemed to be. Don't seem to be observing anything that would suggest that we're on that much of a ramp up of the incidence of this respiratory disease. But certainly, on the other hand, the other side of that is certainly if a dog is displaying any of those clinical signs, the coughing or the sneezing or inappetence or those kind of things, then I think it's really certainly responsible for them to not take them to the boarding facilities and not take them to the playgrounds and the dog parks or to the family visits and things like that. If any of those dogs are displaying any of those clinical signs, then I think it'd be really important to make sure that those dogs are isolated and not taken to those and then probably taken to their veterinarian so they can get evaluated.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Wednesday. Boy, it was a cool one out there, and we had a lot of what we thought we'd see today, and that's those low-lying clouds, also some haze and mist out there in the afternoon today. Some very foggy conditions to our east this morning. Luckily, we didn't see a lot of that, but this was what we had this afternoon looking down from our Omi Gardens Sky-Fi Tower camera, and get ready for the first white stuff of the year here in the Wenatchee area, and that will begin tomorrow night late and especially overnight and into Friday. The chance that Stevens Pass could see 24 inches of snow. It says a 50% chance of that. I think it's even better than that as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Lower elevations, we'll probably see about an inch or two, maybe 1 to 2 inches. That'll be by Saturday morning here in the Wenatchee area. So be careful as you make that morning commute on Friday. Could see some slick roads, and that goes for the end of the day on Friday as well. We'll talk more about that coming up in a bit, but look at that. Freezing mark is all we could get to unofficially today at 32 degrees. 38 is where we should be for this time of year. 63 our record high, and that was set in 1995. This morning, 28, exactly where we should be for this time of year. And our record low, boy, 1985 was a cold one. 5 degrees our record back then for an overnight low. Sunrise 7:25, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:13. All right, let's take a peek at what we can expect as we get you into Thursday, and temperatures maybe a little bit warmer. We'll see with that cloud deck still in place tomorrow. 32 in Moses Lake and Ephrata. 33 for Quincy. We will be the warm spot right here in Wenatchee. We're hoping for 35 tomorrow. 34 at Eniat and Chelan, and then just a little cooler. Leavenworth 33, Lake Wenatchee high temperature tomorrow at 31. All right, tonight we can expect, let's look at the big picture first. Wet weather pattern setting up. Here we are right here in the Pacific Northwest. 1, 2, 3 areas of low pressure, and they are wet ones, and they are headed our direction. An atmospheric river is actually going to set up by the time we get into Sunday, and I'll talk more about that coming up as well. Tonight, you can just see the edge of that trough trying to nose into the northwest. We will see chilly temperatures overnight tonight with mostly cloudy skies, mid-20s for highs. For Thursday, mostly cloudy day. We'll see about a 40% chance for evening snow showers. During the day, not so much, but as we move a little bit later, yeah, here's that chance for snow by tomorrow night. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon in the mid-30s for Friday. Our best chance for snow. Cloudy skies, look at that, a 70% chance of snow. We could see maybe 1 to 2 inches on the ground by Friday night. High temperatures in the mid-30s. And boy, a lot of cold weather has sagged down into even the south central part of the country. By Saturday, a good chance for morning rain and snow. Some rain even heavy in the Cascades. Tapering off, I think, in the afternoon, but we will warm up. Notice our airflow coming up from the southwest. We'll see highs on Saturday near 40 degrees. For Sunday, that's when that atmospheric river develops, and that means some very wet weather for us. All of western Washington could see up to an inch of precipitation on Sunday. We will continue our warm up with high temperatures Sunday into the low 40s. By Monday, kicking off our work week, look at the size of that third storm. A 70% chance of mainly evening and afternoon showers on Monday, and we will continue that warm up again on Monday. We're going to get all the way up into the mid-40s for high temperatures Monday afternoon, and then by the end of our forecast on Tuesday, we're going to stay with that wet weather. Cloudy skies, a 70% chance of rain. Once again, some heavier rain in the Cascades, and we will stay mild too with high temperatures above normal into those mid-40s. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. 23 overnight tonight. That will be one of the coolest temperatures we've seen this season. And then the wet weather begins. Snow Thursday night into Friday, 1 to 2 inches possible. 24 inches may be possible around Stevens Pass this weekend. And then we'll see it warm up and we will switch over to rain. Morning rain and snow on Saturday, and then all rain Sunday right through Tuesday. 42 the high Sunday, 44 on Monday, and all the way up to 46 degrees for a high temperature on Tuesday. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Hibis Market, where community meets. Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
We'll start things off with men's college basketball from last night. It was Gonzaga hosting Cal State Bakersfield at the Kennel, and they came out on top. 81-65 the final. Ryan Nembhard led all 5 starters that were in double figures with 22 points, while Anton Watson had 11 points and 13 rebounds. It was the Bulldogs' 5th win of the season as they improved to 3-0 at home. Coach Mark Few was very pleased with a quiet performance from Watson and his double-double.
He was great. I told him afterwards. I mean, it's just the plays he makes, and how he competes, and he's a winner. And it doesn't, people pick up this score tomorrow and but I mean, he made a lot of winning plays when the game was still in the balance. And
Washington was also victorious last night in Seattle, taking down visiting UC San Diego 83-56. Keon Brooks Jr. led the way with 18 points and 12 rebounds as the Huskies also flexed their muscles defensively.
Brooks Jr. lob pass and the hammer dunk by Braxton Mia, the 7-foot. UCSD has not scored in 2.5 minutes. It's an 8-0 Washington run. Wakoria gets it rejected by Mia. 4 on the shot clock. Double team on Wakoria. Blocked. And now up ahead, Calmise with the flush. He'll take one from the corner. Short. Wheeler. Beautiful look ahead. Calmise leaked out. Looking for the lob dunk, and Mia slams that one home.
But just understand your role out there, Mia, defensively and offensively. They're going to throw it up to you a lot.
Oh, what a block. Moses Wood did not die on the play. Lots to be determined, though, with all the conference championships coming up this weekend. Oh, met at the rim, and Frank says, get out.
Coach Mike Hopkins says he could certainly tell the effects of giving his players a few days off for the holiday last week.
Felt like our defense was really good in the first part of the game, but our offense, you could tell there was we needed some WD-40. You needed to spray the knees, the ankles, but you got to bounce back, and you can see the guys pressing a little bit in the second half or at halftime. We just talked to them about having fun, smiling.
Sahir Wheeler also chipped in 17 points for Washington, who improved to 4-2 with a win. The Eastern Washington men are on the road at USC tonight at 8 o'clock. The game will be broadcast on the Pac-12 network. Switching to the women's side, schedule has a battle in Spokane where Eastern Washington hosts Gonzaga. Washington State plays host to Texas A&M Commerce tonight. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Well, for the 14th time this season, the Seattle Kraken were in a 1-goal game last night, and for the 8th time, they lost. Chicago came out on top 4-3 at the United Center. Blackhawks raced out to a 2-0 lead in the first period before Maddie Beniers and Alex Wenberg tied it up before heading into the first intermission.
I just didn't remember. I didn't have my listening ears on. Beniers, a second shot, and Beniers scores.
That's a tough play there. Korchinski has a little bit of a difficult time instinctively to go back on that entry.
Wenberg still on the puck, and it drifts into the net. Lucas Reichel with the pass to Taylor Radish. Tyler Johnson scores! And the Hawks get the lead right back in the slot. Had a great look. Anderson still on the puck. Wrap around, score! Mackenzie Entwistle on a dime from Joey Anderson. Kurashev driving the net, and it's broken up by Beniers.
Wow, great skating by Beniers.
200 feet of play on display for Beniers. Now Cartier scores for Seattle, and it's all Maddie Beniers at the controls. 3 seconds. And the Hawks and a playoff team from last season, a 4-3 defeat. They finished the homestand 2-1.
Post-game locker room message was that Seattle's being close just doesn't quite get it in the NHL.
Obviously, we need to be better. We're looking for wins here, and we got to find a way to get that done, even on some nights when we don't have our best game. We struggled a little bit at the start, obviously going down 2-0. We've kind of been trying to focus on our start a little bit, and that's not good enough, so hopefully we can clean that up in Toronto.
Well, we were, like I said, I didn't think we were sharp, and that, it shows most when, it shows up in some of the chances against. And that, it's easy just to put it on puck play, but, really when you have shifts that, are not crisp or not sharp, you're not taking care of the puck and giving opportunities, you're going to have some ugly things happen.
Seattle continues its 4-game road trip tomorrow in Toronto. That'll be at 4 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. Well, the Seahawks are in Dallas tomorrow night to face the Cowboys. Seattle's trying to shake off the effects of a 2 straight losing streak with the Rams and 49ers coming out on top. Bobby Wagner says it's important for the younger players to hear Pete Carroll's message that there's still a lot of season left to be played.
Every game's going to feel like a big game or feel like a big moment after a loss or whatever the case may be, because that's just how, no offense, that's how the media works. It makes you feel like it's like the end of the world, but it's not. If you can grasp that concept and you can put that game behind you and not let it leak into the next game, I think it sets you up for success, which I think he does a good job of.
Seattle and Dallas kick off tomorrow at 5:15. It's on Prime Video, but also being broadcast in Seattle on Q13 Fox. The Wenatchee Wild are in Kelowna for a midweek clash with the Rockets tonight. This is the first of 4 games in 5 days for Wenatchee, as they'll return home to host Portland on Friday, then travel to Portland Saturday, then come back home and host Tri-City on Sunday. Austin Drade says the more this team plays together, the more they develop an identity.
I would say this team's developing a personality of grit. I mean, this is even a couple of games ago, this group was down 2 goals, came back two games in a row down a couple goals, and picked up a overtime loss at Tri-City, picked up the win at Spokane. And this team is never out of a hockey game. Even when they're down a couple of goals, they go back into the locker room, regroup, take a breath. The game against Saskatoon, I believe Matt Savoy picked up an answer to Saskatoon's early goal, got it back in 18 seconds. I mean, this group responds well. They respond quickly, oftentimes, and it's a group that I think is very proud of the fact that they're never out of the game. They're tough to put away.
You can see more of Austin's interview with Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on our Facebook, or on our website, that is, at NCWLIFE.com. Wild and Rockets dropped the puck at 7:05. Austin has the call locally on 560 KPQ Radio. Well, checking the Les Schwab scoreboard for high school basketball from last night. First in boys play, Eastmont outscored Ellensburg 31-17 in the second half to win on the road 55-51. Andy Hobson led 3 players in double figures for the Wildcats with 15 points. Sultan dominated Cascade 84-36. Chelan topped Brewster 52-35. Cashmere edged Warden 60-52. Cascade Christian topped Thorpe in a low-scoring affair 28-18. Eastmont girls got out to a great start to matching Ellensburg's 14 points in the first quarter, but the Wildcats only scored 1 point in the second. They go on for the loss 62-27. The final, Elizabeth Hines led Eastmont with 10 points. Sultan topped Cascade 37-27. Brewster beat Chelan 69-42. Cashmere stopped Warden 64-61. Coming up tonight, Liberty Bell girls and boys are in Omak. That begins at 5:45. Tedasca girls and boys are on the road at Curlew. That gets underway at 6. That, my friends, is sports.
On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, it is back. It is the Holiday Craft Bazaar put on with Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band Booster Club. Saturday, December 2nd, you're going to meet the senior drum major, the junior drum major, and everything you need to know about a Wenatchee Valley holiday tradition, one-of-a-kind items only at the Holiday Craft Bazaar on the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night.